Hello, my dear friends. I hope you're doing well. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we're going to be talking about our topic, which is what are mutual funds? Give some examples will be given of mutual funds and how its net asset value, the NAV, how is it calculated? I'm a big fan of cooking, for your information. So I'm going to give you an example of starting off with a pot. Okay, this pot could be an account which is made by capitals, any banks, any investment managers, whatever may they you may have it. They create accounts, which is the basic account for an investment vehicle. In our case, which is a mutual fund. They have investors, or they get investors of all kinds. They get their investors to induce investments or cash or transfer ingredients into this pot, after which the banks, capitals, investment managers, they start the fire underneath the pot, and they start making out investment strategies and whatnot. And most importantly, they introduce an investment committee. An investment committee has many different jobs. A couple of those jobs, just to mention for you, could be deciding how a mutual fund or a fund's operation is done. Where is who is the investment manager of that fund, the fund manager of that fund? They will introduce concepts, operational point of views. They will invest in an Islamic committee, for example, if it's an Islamic fund or whatnot. And they also give you examples of asset classes that the fund manager can invest in. They approve and appoint shuyukh in the Islamic board. They agree with what kind of an investment criteria would be the for the fund. They introduce the idea and the concept of risk management in terms of the risk profile perfectly fit for that mutual fund. And altogether, what they end up doing is that once the investment committee has appointed the fund manager and has given them the asset classes that they can invest in, and the fire is on under the pot, they wait, and they wait for the transactions to get them in terms of profits or returns or whatever they may have it. Okay, very interesting, very basic concept of mutual funds. By the way, for your information, the exact same concept is followed in discretionary portfolios, non-discretionary portfolios, portfolios for ultra high net worth individuals, portfolio for private individuals, portfolios for companies, for private investors, for private funds, for public funds. The same concept applies to any sort of fund operations. Okay. Examples of some of the asset classes that can be used in funds. You could have funds which are primarily investing in stocks. These stocks could be of any jurisdiction, of any country, of any global market. Number two, fixed income funds. From money markets all the way to murabiha funds, from Islamic all the way to non-Islamic or conventional funds. Open-ended or closed-ended. Open-ended meaning that it can continuously subscribe and take out of the fund. So the fund keeps on getting bigger or smaller, depending on subscriptions and descriptions. And in terms of closed-ended funds, this is a fund which is, it could be closed-ended to the risk profile of the investor. It could be closed-ended to the amount that the fund wants to reach. For example, a fund manager may have a closed-ended fund where it will stop at 50 million, for example. So once the fund reaches 50 million, it is closed at that point in time. Okay. The investors who are in the fund, that's it. No new investors can come in. It could be private or public funds. It could be ETFs, exchange traded funds, a fund created where the asset class is only ETFs, local or global or regional markets or whatever you may have it. Or it's a fund of funds. It's a fund created by an asset class which is other funds. Okay, so private equity funds are also well known in the market. Hedge funds are also well known in the market. Real estate funds are very well known in our local Saudi market. And going forward, the asset classes or the type of funds that you can have keeps on going on and on and on. How does a net asset value, a NAV, how is it calculated? Very simple. They take the total asset value of the fund divided by the number of investors. Very simple calculation, very simple understanding on how how, for example, just to take you an example, we have a fund which is at a million riyals. In that fund, that million riyal is divided by 1,000 investors which are in that fund. So your net asset value, your starting net asset value at that time when they created the NAV would have been 1,000 riyals, for example, in for that fund. So with that, I hope I was able to make you understand what mutual funds are. Thank you for attending. This has been your dear friend, Hamid Qureshi. My contact details are at your disposal. Please don't forget to subscribe and have yourself a wonderful day. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.